Hello and welcome to my weekly market analysis for the crypto markets. My name is Brandon Wendell, Chartered Market Technician, and we'll go ahead and take a look at some of my observations and notes and analysis on some of the more popular cryptocurrencies and tokens. So we're going to jump right into this and start off with Bitcoin. And what you'll notice is I've applied some Elliott wave here. Not sure if this is the right count or not, but it looks pretty good. And you can see we've had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 count with a double zigzag back. That's an ABC XYZ type of wave. Now we're in the new wave up. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're potentially going to be getting 5 to the upside. So what's happened is we had a pretty deep retracement. We bounced off a daily demand zone, and noticing right now lots of buying pressure here from that 40,000 area, that low 40,000. Obviously, I'll show you we hit a daily demand zone, and on this pullback on the RSI here, we did not go below 40. So that's suggesting that there may be new highs to come on the Bitcoin. Using the Fibonacci extensions, the previous impulse up, we actually projected and hit the target pretty much 127% of the previous impulse, and then started our correction here. So if this is the end of the correction and we are continuing to move higher, I would launch the Fibonacci extension on this impulse with this correction, and you'll notice there's an overlap right here at the 127.2, the previous target, with the 100% duplication of the most recent impulse right around 69,562. If we exceed that, then there's also another overlap for the next target at about 77,562 to 77,782. So that's where I'm looking for Bitcoin to go before the next big pullback would either be the 69.5 or 77.5 areas. Dropping down into the daily chart, this is what I mean about the demand zone. We actually overshot it a little. This is not looking as bullish as the weekly market was. And I could be wrong about this move on the weekly market because you can see we're still pointing very straight down, very steep angle here on that RSI. So it may not be done with this move down. We'll have to watch. On the daily chart, basically what I'm looking at is we punctured this demand zone. You can see we had drop, base, rally, and it was pretty brutal, that sell-off, but we gained back quite a bit of it, over 50% on the pullback. We may not be done with the correction, but the fact that we moved down so far on the RSI worries me about this being able to rally. This is all buying pressure on the candle, by the way. You take a look at the closing price. That's the most important price on any candle. And you want to measure the distance between the high of the candle and the close, and that's selling pressure, versus the bottom of the candle and the close. That's buying pressure. So you can see back here we had green candle, red candle, green candle. The shape is more important than the color because these were all selling pressure topping tails, and that led us to the sell-off. When you get big bottom tails like this, that's buying pressure. Prices usually move upwards or at least stop going down. We experienced that here. That big push down in October with lots of buying pressure, we went down a little bit more and then rallied to a new high. So we may have something like that going on here as well currently. The difference, though, is on this pullback, we didn't go anywhere near 40. Here we have a lot more bearish activity because we're below 40 on the RSI. So dropping down to the 4-hour chart, you can see as after we rallied and gained back a lot of those losses, we started stalling out and going sideways. So we may continue to do that for a while. We don't really have a lot of momentum in either direction. There is still a little bit of underlying bearishness as we're well below 40, but it's obviously not as bearish as it was once before. So I'm going to keep an eye on this. I see long term we should be moving up, but in the short term, we may have some sideways choppiness and some struggles before we can go up. Looking at the 60-minute time frame, we actually have some overhead supply that will hold us down. That's a problem. So it doesn't look like we're going to be moving up very soon. Unfortunately, I don't have a really good opportunity to sell anywhere, but I would watch to see if we start breaking down without making a new high and break below this 48,596, then you possibly could go short targeting these next Fibonacci levels until we make new lows. Then I would use an extension at that point. Looking into Ethereum, on the weekly chart of Ethereum also had pretty bad, big week to the downside, some bad movement there down. Ran right into weekly zone, and we came shy of our 100% extension from the previous impulse. Impulse up, correction down, impulse up. Didn't quite reach the target. Maybe we do if we bounce now. As you can see, we've got a lot of indecision. Great selling pressure from that high, and we've got lots of buying pressure off the low. We're very bullish, and we're not moving down as steep as we were on the weekly chart of Bitcoin. So Ethereum looks like it might be holding up a little bit better. Onto the daily chart, you can see we just tagged that daily demand. It's dead on, drop base rally right there, hit it, and we stayed above 40. So this is much more bullish of a picture. Even when we went into supply, we couldn't get above 60. So this is suggesting some more sideways choppiness in Ethereum, which is going to make it very difficult to do anything other than just sit back and wait. We do have some bearishness on the 4-hour time frame because we did make some highs, but as we made those highs, we couldn't get above 60 on the RSI. That's bearish. So short term, this is suggesting, you see this choppiness, we may try to retest that 3608 area, because here we're seeing nothing but bearish pressure going well below 40, no problem, but on the rallies, we can't get into bullish territory. That's what we need in order to be able to make new highs. So this is not a supply zone yet because we need more follow through, but I'm concerned with this rally base drop right around 4,200 on the 4-hour. And that could push us lower if we were to bounce off that, or even just drop from where we are now down to 34.86. Looking at the 60-minute chart, we had a negative divergence as we tried to go higher. That led to the sell-off. Now we're trying to rally. On the sell-off, we did hold above 40. So this was not ready to drop right away. And that's what I was thinking. It might move up a little more. I'm going to keep an eye out right here for this supply on the hourly, 43.2571 to 43.66. That's a great selling opportunity before it drops again. I think that's where we're going before we start seeing the sell-off down to 34.86. On Cardano, for the weekly chart, we actually see that drop-based rally weekly demand was being tested, and we were just going below 40 on the RSI. So that means since we were bouncing or closed below 40, we're bouncing in this demand zone. We are not going to be able to take out this high without a retracement. So unfortunately, as we bounce here, we may not be able to get above $2 before we go lower. So we start looking at, here's our move down, and we are simply retracing. We may retrace as much as 50%. We don't really have a good supply zone here, but if we do hit the 50% or less, one of these fib levels is likely to be our turning point. If I figure out which one it is, I want to sell with my stop above the next fib point, and my target is going to be my next extension. We have the 100% continuation at 119, or we've got 86.79 at the 127.2% extension, or even the extreme 161.8 all the way down to 45 cents. So unfortunately, I think we're going to continue to push to the downside after we get a small bounce here. Solana on the weekly chart, not really sure what's going on. We had that move up out of this consolidation that was going on in September and October. We are retracing right now and sitting pretty. We closed right at 61.8%, but look at all that selling pressure. So still seeing there might be more push to the downside here. We have not gone very bearish in the momentum at all. We still have lots of bullish momentum, but it doesn't look very good right now. You can see we kind of pegged this area of supply and started turning down. We are trying to bounce a little bit and hold above 40. So there is some underlying bullishness that may try to keep us afloat. And I don't really see a good entry yet for a short. But for some reason, because of this weakness coming in, it looks like we may try to push down into the 163, 177 right here, that demand. So looking at the Solana US dollar here on the, what time frame is that? 4-hour time frame. Forgot to put the label in. We hit this supply zone, kind of drop-based drop, and already moving down. I don't really have a new entry. What I'll watch for, though, is if we make some fresh lows, this may be a new zone here at 200. We have drop, base, base, drop. That could eventually become a supply zone to enter for selling down to the 157.54. So that's pretty much what I saw on some of the major currencies that we're looking at in the crypto field, digital assets. If you have any questions, let me know. And until next time, trade safe, trade well. Please click on subscribe if you enjoyed the videos. That way you get notified when new ones come out. And you can also give me some feedback in the comments. Love to hear back from you. Until next time, I will talk to you soon.